Here is the real reason spiritually awake people have fewer friends. Most relationships survive on shared illusions, shared beliefs, shared fears, shared assumptions. We agree that Monday is awful. We agree that weekends save us. We agree that success means ladder climbing. We agree that happiness depends on outcomes. Then awakening happens, and you start seeing through the agreement. Monday is neither good nor bad. It simply exists. The ladder does not lead anywhere. You are already standing where you were trying to reach. Silence begins to reveal what words hide. Presence replaces the need for constant validation. And when you speak from that place, your friends look at you differently, almost as if you have lost your mind. You stopped cheering for the same dramas. You stopped fearing the same fears. You stopped investing in the same illusions. Imagine sitting at a card table and realizing the cards are only printed paper. You are right, yet the realization disrupts the game everyone else is playing. Your conversations shift. Your emotional world shifts. Your sense of meaning shifts. Your friend complains about their boss. You sense that the tension is deeper than their workplace. You sense that the real conflict is resistance to reality. Your colleague worries about their child's university. You see that the anxiety comes from an unlived life, not the child's future. Your neighbor shows you their new car. You see an attempt to feel significant in a world that feels unpredictable. You could say all this out loud. You could try explaining the depth behind their reactions. You find very quickly that they do not want this awakening handed to them. People cling to their dreams, even when the dream hurts, especially when the dream hurts, because pain feels familiar. Familiarity feels safe. So you live in a new kind of in-between. A world where you see through the film you are watching. You still enjoy it. You still feel the moments. You simply cannot lose yourself in it the way you used to. Your friends remain inside the movie. You are watching with a different awareness. And something else happens. Authenticity starts mattering more than comfort. Small talk feels like dust. Pretending feels impossible. Masks feel heavy. You cannot force yourself to nod along anymore. When someone asks how you are, you feel the urge to answer truthfully, not dramatically, simply honestly. This honesty disrupts the script people expect. You stop laughing at jokes you do not feel. You stop gossiping. You stop performing a self that no longer exists. Your friends notice. They notice you are no longer a partner in the old dance. You feel comfortable with silence now, comfortable with presence, comfortable with stillness. Most people fill silence with noise. Noise keeps them from meeting themselves. Noise keeps them from noticing the vastness inside. You start craving communion instead of conversation, connection instead of distraction, realness instead of routine. At this point, we reach the middle of the journey, which is exactly where I remind you gently to like, share, and subscribe. If this kind of content mirrors your own awakening. Now, the middle of the journey is where most people turn back. Not because the path gets darker, it actually gets brighter. It gets quieter, and that quiet scares them. This is the stage where you begin to notice how much of your previous life was built around emotional noise. The constant checking, the constant comparing, the constant explaining, the constant performing. Once all of that begins to fall away, you meet parts of yourself you never had time to greet. You begin to feel emotions without immediately trying to fix them. You begin to notice thoughts without chasing them. You begin to witness your mind the way you would watch clouds move across a silent sky. This kind of inner spaciousness is unfamiliar to people who live in a constant rush. When you share this peace with them, they feel threatened rather than inspired, because your calm reflects their chaos. Your clarity reflects their confusion. Your presence reflects their absence. This is also where friendships fall apart quietly, not through conflict, through mismatch. You are no longer feeding the emotional loops that once held the relationship together. You are not providing the same reactions. You are not amplifying insecurities. You are not participating in shared avoidance. And without these loops, many relationships simply dissolve, not out of judgment, out of evolution. The chapter ends because the lesson ends. Now something deeper awakens in you. Purpose transforms, meaning changes shape. Your old friends chase the next achievement. You realize that the race has no finish line. Happiness is not at the end of the road. Happiness is the road. You are not telling anyone to stop striving. You simply understand that striving is part of the play, not the purpose of it. And try explaining that at a crowded dinner table. The self you used to be dissolves. The identity you clung to unravels. The personality you performed reveals itself as a costume. This is the psychological anchor of the story, a concept deeply connected to Carl Jung, who explained that awakening requires the death of the false self, so the true self can emerge without distortion. Your friends remain attached to their identities. They take everything personally. Every insult stings. Every compliment inflates. You stop identifying with roles. You see the personality as a tool, useful, creative, not who you are. This creates an authenticity gap. You are no longer an audience for performances. You are present with the person behind the performance. Yet most people want spectators, not witnesses. Then something profound occurs. You discover solitude without loneliness. Loneliness aches for the company. Solitude holds its own light. Solitude is the meeting point between you and yourself. Modern society fears solitude, fills every moment with distraction, calls this avoidance connection. You do not reject a company. You simply stop fearing the absence of it. And the less you fear solitude, the more people misunderstand you. You seem distant when you are actually present. You seem detached when you are genuinely peaceful. You also stop participating in collective illusions. Tribal debates lose their charm. My side and your side lose their pull. You see unity behind separation. This makes you unreliable for group identities. And many friendships rely on shared enemies or shared heroes. Time shifts too. You stop living in tomorrow. You stop drowning in yesterday. You realize that the only time that ever lives is now. People bond over shared anxiety about the future. You no longer feed that anxiety. This creates another subtle distance. You also make peace with death, and this terrifies people. Your calm presence reminds them of a truth they avoid, a truth that gives life its beauty. Your love deepens, not attachment disguised as love, not need disguised as affection. You love without clinging. You love without asking for anything in return. And this intensity feels unfamiliar to people used to conditional bonds. So what does the spiritually awake person do? They stop forcing awakening onto others. They stop preaching. They stop trying to convince anyone of anything. They live with clarity. They speak with compassion. They move with sincerity. They accept that fewer friendships remain. They understand that the friendships that do remain become profound. Awakening strips away what cannot survive honesty. It reveals what was real all along. Fewer friends does not equal less connection. It equals deeper connection. The point was never to gather people. The point was to awaken, to see, to live, to be present, to love without condition.